Welcome to our channel, where we embark on a journey through the realms of philosophy, the digital age, and the esoteric. Explore thought-provoking discussions on the nature of reality, the impact of technology on our lives, and the hidden truths behind conspiracy theories. Delve into the unusual and the mysterious as we challenge conventional wisdom and seek deeper understanding. Join us on this intellectual adventure as we uncover the secrets of existence and expand our horizons together. But first, we must answer a few questions. What is philosophy? Who are the greatest philosophers in the world? In this video, I will talk about the 25 greatest philosophers in history. So, let's get started. Philosophy, from the Greek philosophia, love of wisdom, is a field of knowledge that studies fundamental questions about the nature of existence, consciousness, man, society, and their relationships. It is aimed at finding generalized principles and regularities underlying reality, as well as at comprehending the meaning of life, moral values, and human cognitive abilities. Main characteristics of philosophy: subject matter, ontology, being essence of the world; gnoseology, nature and limits of cognition; ethics, morality, values; aesthetics, beauty, art; logic, laws of thinking; philosophy of language, science, religion, etc.; methods, logical analysis, critical thinking, dialectic study of contradictions, synthesis of ideas, reflection, self-analysis of thinking; objective, formation of a holistic worldview, comprehension of the meaning of existence, critical revision of the foundations of thinking, and search for answers to the eternal questions. What is truth? What is the essence of good and evil? What is the purpose of man? Role. Philosophy serves as a foundation for other sciences, culture, and social development, stimulating discussions about values, justice, freedom, and progress. Examples of key themes: the doctrine of being, Parmenides, Heraclitus; theory of knowledge, Kant, Descartes; ethical concepts, Aristotle, Kant, Nietzsche; social philosophy, Marx, Habermas. Philosophy does not give unambiguous recipes, but offers tools for independent thinking, helping a person to navigate the complex issues of being and meaning. Philosophy has played a key role in shaping our world. From science to politics, ethics to art, great philosophers have challenged the conventional wisdom of their time, changed the views of their contemporaries, and created new concepts that have helped us understand ourselves and the world around us. Many of us have heard famous quotes that make us think, but not everyone knows who said them. And after all, each wise word comes from a deep system of thinking belonging to the great minds of the past. Today, you will go on a fascinating journey through time, from ancient teachings to new philosophical trends. We'll talk about 25 of the most influential philosophers in human history, from those whose names are known to everyone to those whom time has forgotten. Aristotle, one of the most important philosophers of ancient Greece, a student of Plato and teacher of Alexander the Great. His writings cover many fields: logic, metaphysics, poetics, linguistics, and government. It was his approach to systematic thinking that became the basis for the development of many sciences. Immanuel Kant, German philosopher who had a great influence on the development of Western philosophy. He argued that man cannot know the real world as it is the noumenal world, but perceives it through the prism of his own senses and reason, the phenomenal world. Thus, we can never be sure whether our experience is reality or illusion. Interesting fact: born in Königsberg, he was a subject of the Russian Empire. Plato, Aristotle's teacher and one of the founders of the Western philosophical tradition. Plato became famous for founding the first higher school in Europe, the famous Academy in Athens. There, issues of the state, justice, goodness, and eternal truths were discussed. Confucius, a great Chinese philosopher who lived in the 6th century BC. His teachings focused on the importance of family, social relationships, and moral behavior. Confucius' ideas formed the basis of Confucianism, one of the key philosophical and ethical systems that shaped Chinese culture for centuries. David Hume, Scottish skeptical philosopher and exponent of empiricism. Hume argued that our beliefs are shaped not so much by reason as by experience and habit. His work had a profound influence on later thinkers, including Kant himself, who recognized his intellectual debt to Hume. René Descartes, often called the father of modern philosophy, Descartes is famous for his famous phrase, cogito ergo sum, I think, therefore I exist. He laid the foundations of rationalism and greatly influenced the development of mathematics and the natural sciences. Socrates, founder of ancient philosophy and teacher of Plato. Socrates did not leave behind a single book, but his method of dialogue, the Socratic method, became the basis of philosophical inquiry. He taught people not to give ready-made answers, but to ask the right questions to arrive at the truth on their own. Niccolò Machiavelli, Renaissance political philosopher, author of the famous treatise, The Sovereign. Unlike his predecessors, he did not talk about the virtue of the ruler, but advised how to hold power by any means. His name became a symbol of a cynical approach to politics, and the phrase, "It is better to be feared than loved," gave rise to the term Machiavellianism. John Locke, English philosopher and physician, one of the founders of empiricism. Locke believed that all knowledge comes to us through the senses. His ideas formed the basis of liberal democracy and influenced the development of American and European political thought. When asked how to prove the existence of the external world, he simply said, "Try sticking your hand in the fire." Diogenes of Sinope, a passionate critic of society and representative of the kinetic school. Diogenes lived in a barrel and despised wealth and vanity. He declared that Athens had lost its moral values and that it was necessary to return to a simple and virtuous life. According to legend, he walked around the city with a lantern and said he was looking for an honest man. Thomas Aquinas, one of the most influential philosophers and theologians of the Middle Ages. Aquinas combined ancient philosophy, especially the works of Aristotle, with Christian theology. His works became the foundation of Catholic teaching and had a tremendous influence on the development of medieval thought. Lao Tzu, a Chinese philosopher of the 6th century BC. Lao Tzu is considered the founder of Taoism, a spiritual and philosophical tradition centered on the concept of the Tao, which means the way. His teachings called for harmony with the natural order of things and action through inaction, Wu Wei. This was the opposite of the active, normative philosophy of Confucius. But Lao Tzu's ideas influenced not only Taoism, but also Confucianism, Buddhism, and other aspects of Chinese culture. Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz. Along with Descartes, Leibniz is considered one of the leading exponents of rationalism. His education as an engineer helped him develop a unique perspective on the nature of reason and reality. He argued that the mind could not be reduced to a mechanical machine. Instead, he saw the world as composed of immaterial elements, monads, which are the simplest substances underlying all things. Baruch Spinoza, a Jewish philosopher born in Amsterdam in the 17th century. Spinoza became famous for rationally analyzing key elements of the Judeo-Christian worldview. For example, he rejected the idea of miracles as something supernatural, seeing them as manifestations of the laws of nature. These views drew sharp criticism from both ecclesiastical and secular authorities. Voltaire, one of the major thinkers of the Enlightenment, Voltaire was known for his criticism of dogmatic religion, his commitment to reason, and his defense of free speech. His writings aimed to denounce social injustice and human suffering, and his sharp wit and sarcastic style made him one of the most influential authors of his time. Thomas Hobbes, an English philosopher who lived through the English Civil War. Hobbes created the theory that humans are inherently prone to chaos. To avoid anarchy, people must hand over power to a strong ruler, even if it means giving up some of their freedom to preserve peace. In his view, life outside the state is a war of all against all. Augustine of Hippo, born in Numidia, now Algeria, Augustine became one of the most important theologians of early Christianity. His autobiographical work, The Confessions, describes his journey to faith. His key ideas include the concept of just war and an attempt to reconcile the doctrines of predestination with the idea of free will. Al-Ghazali, a Persian Islamic philosopher and theologian, Al-Ghazali became an important figure in the history of Muslim thought. He criticized the philosophical views of Aristotle, especially the idea of the eternity of the world, arguing that God created everything. He also played a major role in popularizing Sufism, a spiritual mystical trend in Islam. Siddhartha Gautama, Buddha, originally from India. Buddha was the founder of Buddhism and one of the most influential spiritual leaders in history. He concluded that the source of human pain is the desire for permanence in a world where nothing lasts forever. His teachings formed the basis of one of the world's largest religions, which spread throughout Asia. Montesquieu, a French political philosopher. Montesquieu had an enormous influence on the development of modern democratic systems. His idea of the division of power into executive, legislative, and judicial branches has formed the basis of many constitutions, including the US Constitution. Jean-Jacques Rousseau, Swiss by birth, Rousseau was one of the key thinkers of the Enlightenment. He argued that man is born free, but society makes him a slave. After winning a contest, he answered the question, have science and art led to a better morality? In the negative, stating that they increased inequality and gave the state more power over people. George Berkeley, an Irish philosopher, Berkeley was one of the first to question the existence of the material world. He argued that matter could simply be a collection of perceptions existing in the mind of God. Thus, to be is to be perceived. Ayn Rand, born in Russia and moved to the United States, Ayn Rand became known as a philosopher who advocated rational egoism and non-interference of the state in the economy. Her ideas formed the basis of modern libertarianism and the conservative movement in America. Simone de Beauvoir, although she did not call herself a philosopher, her work had a huge influence on existentialism and feminism. In her famous work, The Second Field, she declared, "A woman is not born, a woman becomes a woman," emphasizing that gender is shaped by society, not biology. Sun Tzu, a Chinese strategist and military philosopher who lived around the 5th century BC, Sun Tzu became famous for his treatise, The Art of War. His principles of deception, planning, and psychological preparation are still used today, not only in the military, but also in business and politics. And so, philosophy is not just a set of theories or abstract thoughts. It is a way of understanding ourselves, society, and the world around us. Over the millennia, humanity has created a wealth of ideas that have shaped our thinking, politics, culture, and even technology. These 25 great philosophers are just the tip of the iceberg, but it is their ideas that have had the most profound impact on our civilization. Who would have thought that the ancient musings of Plato, Confucius, or Buddha still resonate in today's world? If you are interested in such topics, put a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell so that you don't miss anything. Watch my channel, Path to Discovery. In the future, I will tell more about each of these philosophers, their teachings, books, and how their ideas can be useful to you. I'll talk about theories that make you think about the nature of reality, the impact of technology on our lives, and the hidden truths behind conspiracy theories. In the meantime, think about this. If you lived in that era, whose ideas would you defend? Who would have been your teacher? See you soon.